Welcome back to She Will Empower. I'm your host, Jessica Cherry. I'm a strategic intervention and empowerment coach, an NLP practitioner, a networking and empowerment community director, a certified sound bath practitioner, social media and marketing gal, and your Tuesday morning wake up club host on 94.3 KWVH Wimberley Valley Radio, where we bring real talk, real tools, and real empowerment straight to the airwaves. And if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for spending part of your day with me. And if you're listening on the podcast replay, welcome to this space where we talk about mindset, growth, psychology, and real life decisions that shape who we become. This show is for people who are trying to do better in life. The ones building businesses and careers, the ones raising kids, the ones caring for aging parents, the ones reinventing themselves. And today we are diving into something that has changed lives around the world. It's a concept that Tony Robbins talks about, and some others actually. It's a pattern called the Crazy Eight pattern. Sometimes there's other names for it, but usually it's the Crazy Eight pattern. Now, before you tune out because you think this sounds like some complicated psychology term, stay with me, because once you see this pattern, you're going to start seeing it everywhere. It's one of those things where once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You see it in relationships, you see it in business, you see it in friendships, you see it in family dynamics. It's everywhere. Really, it is. And if we're being completely honest, you might even see it staring right back at you in the mirror, because the Crazy Eight pattern is one of the biggest reasons people stay stuck. It's one of the biggest reasons people repeat the same painful experiences over and over and over again while wondering why nothing changes. It's why some people can leave one toxic relationship only to end up right back in another one. And then they wonder, what is happening? Did I just leave this? Or it's why some people can change jobs 5 times and still be miserable. And it's why someone can lose weight, gain it back, lose it again, gain it back again, and feel like they're living in a hamster wheel. The people change, the circumstances change, the scenery changes, but the emotional experience stays the same. And that's what we're talking about today. Because the problem isn't what's happening around you. No, sometimes the problem is the pattern happening inside of you. All right. So I know that there is a lot to unpack. So let's start with, what is the Crazy Eight, right? Let's start with what the Crazy Eight actually is. All right. So imagine the number 8 on a piece of paper, not standing upright. Turn it sideways like an infinity symbol. Now, imagine yourself traveling around the loop over and over and over again, going from left to right and left to right. You think you're moving, right? You think you're progressing. You think you're going somewhere, but in reality, you're circling the same emotional territory repeatedly. Different faces, same feelings. Different year, same story. Different relationship, same pain. Different opportunity even, but it's the same self-sabotage. That is the Crazy Eight. It's an unconscious emotional loop. And I swear, once you see it, you are never, ever going to unsee it. It's a cycle of behaviors, beliefs, fears, reactions, and outcomes that keep recreating themselves. And most people don't even know they're doing it, right? They think life is happening to them. But often life is reflecting back what is happening within them. Now, before anyone gets defensive, this is not blame. We're not doing the blame game here. This is about awareness. 100,000,000,000% awareness. Awareness of the pattern. Because awareness creates choice. And choice creates freedom. And one of the biggest breakthroughs you can ever have is realizing that your patterns are not your identity. Let me say that again. Your patterns are not your identity. Just because you've done something repeatedly doesn't mean that's who you are. It means that's what you've practiced. And anything practiced can be changed. So I'll give you an example. Here's an example. Now, remember, there are many crazy eight examples. This is just one. I want you to think about a person who constantly says, all men are the same, right? We've heard that. All men are the same. So let's say, for example, she's dating someone, right? Let's make it a woman. She's dating someone, she gets hurt. She promises she'll never do it again. Then she takes some time off, and then she feels lonely, and she meets someone new, and she falls quickly. She ignores the red flags. Guess what? She gets hurt again. See? I knew it, she says. I knew it. I knew it. All men are dogs. But here's the question. Was it all men? Or was she unconsciously choosing the same type of man over and over and over? It was a different person, but the same pattern. That is the crazy eight. Or maybe I'll give you another example. Maybe it's a business, right? Someone starts a new exciting business. They're excited, they're motivated, they're so incredibly inspired. They're saving everything on their phone. They're so inspired. And then things get difficult. So they stop posting. They stop networking. They stop promoting. The business slows down. Then they tell themselves, I knew it. I knew I wasn't cut out for this. And a year later, they start another business. And the same thing happens. Different business, same emotional cycle. That's the crazy eight. Or maybe here's another one. Maybe it's confidence. Let's use that example. Maybe it's confidence. Someone wants visibility, they want success, they want that recognition, right? They want to feel good. But when opportunity shows up, they shrink. They stay quiet. They play small. They become frustrated that nobody notices them when they're doing this. And the opportunity comes again. And then there they go. They shrink again. Same outcome, same frustration. Crazy eight. What makes the pattern so dangerous, though, is that it feels normal, right? You don't realize you're trapped because you've lived so long there. It's like walking into a room with a strange smell, right? After a while, you don't notice it anymore, right? Has that ever happened to you? It's happened to me where I walk into a room and I'm like, ooh, or it smells good, right? But after a while, you don't smell it. See, your nervous system becomes familiar with chaos, familiar with disappointment, or familiar with rejection, familiar with struggle. And what's familiar starts to feel safe, even when it's hurting you. That's the part no one talks about. People don't always choose what's healthy, they often choose what's familiar. And that right there is why change can feel absolutely terrifying. Not because you're incapable, but because you're stepping outside of familiarity. See, you're stepping outside the emotional neighborhood you've lived your entire life. So, of course, you're going to feel weird and your nervous system starts sounding alarms, not because you're unsafe, but because you're unfamiliar. That's the difference right there. There's the difference. Think about it. How many opportunities have you avoided because unfamiliar felt dangerous, right? How many relationships have you sabotaged because peace felt uncomfortable? Or how many goals have you abandoned because success felt unfamiliar? See, crazy eight isn't logical. That's not what this is. Crazy eight is emotional, it's subconscious. And until you become aware of it, it will keep ruining your life in the background, right? Like software you've never intentionally installed on your cell phone or your computer. It's just horrible. And today we're going to expose it. We're going to identify it and we're going to begin breaking it. Because you deserve more than surviving your patterns. You deserve freedom from them. And that's exactly where we're headed. So we're going to talk about how to identify your own crazy eight. Okay. So now that we know what the crazy eight pattern is, we're going to talk how to identify it, because here's the truth. You cannot change what you refuse to see, right? And sometimes this can be a hard talk, but I promise it's coming from a space of absolute love. Because even for myself, once I learned about the crazy eight pattern, I saw that I did it sometimes too. And knowing is so, so powerful. See, most people spend years focusing on outcomes, right? The final result. They focus on the breakup, they focus on the failed launch, or the financial stress, or the friendship drama, or the weight gain, the anxiety. But very few people stop and ask, what pattern created this outcome, right? What was the root, not the symptom or the outcome of it? What pattern created this outcome? That's where transformation begins. So, I want to do an exercise together. I want you to think about something in your life that keeps repeating. Not once, not twice, but repeatedly. Maybe it's relationships, right? Maybe it's money. Maybe it's confidence. Maybe it's boundaries or people pleasing. Maybe it's burnout, even. And ask yourself, what keeps happening? What story keeps replaying? What pain keeps returning? Because the outcome is your clue. See, for me personally, it was boundaries. I kept having weak boundaries, and this helped me so much. So that was me personally. Now, let's go deeper. What usually happens right before the outcome? What thoughts appear, right? What emotions show up? What behaviors follow? Because every crazy eight has a sequence. Every crazy eight has a pathway. So let's use burnout, for example, right? Many people have a burnout with crazy eight. It starts with wanting to help everyone, then saying yes to everything, right? This is really common. Then overcommitting, then feeling exhausted, then feeling resentful, then crashing, then recovering, then promising to never do it again, then saying yes to everyone again, and back around the loop. That's the crazy eight. Sound familiar? Or maybe the pattern is people pleasing, right? That's a really big one too. So here's people pleasing. You avoid conflict, right? You don't speak up. You tolerate behavior you dislike, like from a boss or from a partner or a friend's rude comments or a family member, even some sort of behavior that gets under your skin, but you tolerate it and you become resentful, right? And then you explode, but then you feel guilty after. And so you apologize. And then after you apologize, you start people pleasing again, back around the loop. Crazy eight. Or maybe here's another one. Maybe your pattern is visibility, right? You have this idea and you get excited and you post something and you worry what people will think. And so you pull back and you disappear and you get frustrated. Nobody sees your value. And then you become inspired again and you post again, back around the loop. Crazy eight. Do you see it? The pattern isn't random, it's so predictable. And once you can predict it, you can interrupt it. There's a meme. Have you ever seen that meme that goes around? It's a group of matches, and then someone lights the group, right? And they're in a line. Let's pretend they're in an eight line, right? At this case, and that one person interrupts this pattern by pulling the match, and then the fire stops because somebody pulls the match out. That's what I think of when I think of this, except the match, of course, is lined up in an eight. So, anyway, the one thing I want you to notice is the emotional trigger, right? Every crazy eight has one. Some emotional triggers can be fear or rejection or abandonment, not feeling enough. Also, that's another one, or not feeling worthy or not feeling safe, feeling judged, feeling criticized, feeling just unseen. Somewhere inside the pattern is an emotion you're trying to avoid. And ironically, avoiding it keeps recreating it, which is the craziest thing because you truly don't even want that, right? But you're in that pattern and that's what happens. And one of the biggest lessons you'll ever learn is this: avoidance feeds repetition, all right? Avoidance feeds repetition. What you resist persists. The more you run from an emotion, the more power it gains, right? The more you avoid rejection, the more your life becomes controlled by fear of rejection. And the more you avoid failure, the more you stop taking action. And the more you avoid disappointment, the more you settle for less than you deserve. See, the crazy eight survives because it remains unconscious. The moment you shine a light on it, right, in the corner of the room, and the moment you shine a light on it, it starts losing power. And that's why journaling, for example, is so powerful. So you ask yourself these loaded self-reflection questions. And if you need a notepad, this is a great time to just pause it if you can, right? If you're listening to this on the replay, just get a notepad, pause it, circle back, come back to it, because these are good questions. So the first question is, what keeps repeating, right? Also, what role do I play? And what belief fuels this pattern, right? Or what emotion am I trying to avoid here? And what payoff am I secretly receiving? Because every pattern has a payoff. Even unhealthy ones, they have payoffs. So here's the thing. Burnout, the payout is approval, right? Burnout gets approval. People pleasing avoids conflict. Perfectionism, that avoids criticism, right? Playing small avoids judgment. And the payoff may be temporary, but it exists. And until you identify it, the pattern remains attractive. But here's the hard truth here. Sometimes we stay stuck because a part of us benefits from staying stuck. All right? That's a mind trip right there. Sometimes we stay stuck because a part of us benefits from staying stuck, not consciously, subconsciously. And that's what we're bringing into light today. Because awareness is where your power begins, right? And we're just getting started here. So I want to talk about why your nervous system keeps pulling you back, right? Let's talk about something most people completely overlook. And that is your nervous system. I don't think it gets enough credit here or enough attention. Just in general, let's talk about the nervous system. Because if you've ever wondered why you know what to do, but you don't do it, this is why. Logic lives in the mind, right? Patterns live in the nervous system. You can read every single self-help book on the planet, and you can attend every seminar, and you can listen to every podcast, take every single course. But if your nervous system believes something is unsafe, it will pull you back, right? Every single time. Think about a person who grew up feeling invisible, for example. As an adult, they want visibility, right? This person wants success, they want recognition. But every time they start getting noticed, anxiety appears. Why? Because visibility feels unfamiliar, right? It's the feeling. Visibility feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliarity feels dangerous. And the mind says, this is what I want. I want this. But the nervous system says, this doesn't feel safe. Back up, right? And guess which one wins? Usually, it's the nervous system. The crazy eight lives there. It's the emotional conditioning, right? It lives in old experiences. It lives in history. It lives in old meanings you've assigned to life. Because somewhere along the way, you've learned something. And this could be programmed in your brain, even from childhood or for teen years, or even maybe you've learned something like this. Don't be too loud, right? Don't take up space. Don't disappoint people. I think that one was mine personally. Don't disappoint anybody. Don't fail. Don't stand out. Don't make mistakes. Don't ask for help. don't trust people. And those beliefs became rules, right? And rules became behaviors, and behaviors became patterns, and patterns became identity, except they were never truly you, right? They were survival strategies. And survival strategies are not meant to become permanent lifestyles, right? Let me repeat that. It's really good to hone in on that. Survival strategies were never meant to become permanent lifestyles. Yet many people spend decades living from survival. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's try this one. People pleasing, for example, or overworking, caretaking, even to the point of past burnout, right? Or overgiving from an empty cup, over explaining, over apologizing, overthinking, all because it helped them survive something. But survival and thriving are not the same thing. And if you're still operating from old survival patterns, the crazy eight will continue. Not because you're broken, but because your nervous system hasn't learned a new way yet. And the good news is it can. The brain is adaptable. Your nervous system is adaptable. You, my dear, are adaptable. You're not trapped. You are trained, and training can be changed. That realization alone, incredibly empowering, right? And I'm all about empowering it. She will empower because it means your future isn't dictated by your past. It means you can create new patterns, new emotional responses, new beliefs, new outcomes. But first, you have to become conscious enough to catch yourself inside the loop. And that leads us to the final part, is how to actually break it, right? So let's talk about breaking the crazy eight for good. So, how do you break the crazy eight? The first step is interruption. All right. You cannot change a pattern while running on autopilot, right? You got to take it off of autopilot. You must interrupt it. You got to catch yourself. So you pause, you notice, you observe. And instead of immediately reacting, ask, what pattern am I in right now, right? Catch yourself. And the one question can change everything. And the second step is identifying the belief underneath it, which is a little harder, but it's totally doable because behaviors are symptoms, beliefs are causes. Maybe the belief is, I'm not enough. I'm not lovable. I am not capable. I'm not worthy. People always leave. Success is hard. Money is stressful. Nobody understands me. Find the belief, whatever it is, right? And then challenge it. Challenge the belief. Why not? It's not stuck. Replace the belief. Some people say, fake it till you make it. I've done it. Act like the person you want to be now, right? Why not? Who's stopping you besides you from acting that way, even if it's fake? Fake it till you make it, right? The third step after replacing the belief is emotional regulation. So when you're triggered, don't immediately react, right? Breathe, pause, ground yourself, walk, journal, move your body, go touch grass outside, stretch, do some jumping jacks, just something, right? When you're triggered, don't immediately react. You got to step back from it. Give your nervous system a chance to catch up because triggered decisions often reinforce old patterns, all right? Regulated decisions create new ones, all right? So that's the third step. The fourth step is pattern replacement, right? This is the actual doing. Don't just stop and then do an old behavior. Don't do that. Replace it. If your pattern is people pleasing, practice healthy honesty, right? It's hard, but it can be totally done. And if your pattern is shrinking, practice visibility. And if your pattern is avoidance, practice action. And if your pattern is self criticism, practice self compassion. See, the brain needs something new to rehearse. We're getting you out of the old crazy eight pattern. So the brain needs something new. Otherwise, it defaults back to the familiar. All right. So the fifth step here is repetition. And this is where many people just, quit. They toss their hands up in the air and say, no, I'm not doing it. And they think that one breakthrough changes everything. It doesn't. Transformation is repetition. New beliefs repeated, new actions, which is especially important, repeated, right? Action is really important. It's repeated action, new emotional responses repeated until they become your new normal. You didn't create the crazy eight overnight, okay? You won't break it overnight, but every interruption here weakens it, all right? Every conscious choice weakens it, and every moment of awareness weakens it. And eventually, the pattern that once controlled you loses its grip, and freedom begins, and it's beautiful. And so as we wrap up today, I want you to leave with one question. What is the pattern you've been calling your personality, right? What if it's not who you are? What if it's just simply who you've been practicing being? Because if that's true, and I believe it is, then you can practice something new. You can become something new. You can become someone new. The person that you want to become isn't waiting for permission. They're waiting for awareness. They're waiting for action. They're waiting for you to stop circling the same emotional loop and step into a new direction. The crazy eight ends the moment consciousness begins. And maybe today is that moment for you, right? I believe in you. I've done it myself. It's hard, but you can do the work. And yeah, that is today's episode. You can catch brand new episodes every Sunday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on KWVH 94.3 Wimberley Valley Radio. And of course, you can listen anytime, anywhere on your favorite podcast platform. Just search She Will Empower and I'll be right there waiting for you. And if you're an early riser or trying to become one, come hang out with me every Tuesday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. on the Wake Up Club on Wimberley Valley Radio. It's cozy, it's fun, it's full of great music and real conversations from the community. And honestly, it's one of the best ways, in my opinion, to start your morning feeling grounded, connected, and a little more alive. Now, if you're in Central Texas and your nervous system feels fried, overwhelmed, or like you have been running on fumes for way too long, I would love to see you in person at Lone Star Sound Baths. Just search Lone Star Sound Baths on social media and you'll find me. I guide immersive sound bath experiences designed to help you soften, settle, and truly reset your mind, your body, and your spirit. And it's one of the most healing offerings I provide. And serving our community in this way is something I deeply love. And you can also connect with me through Ladies Lifestyle Network Hayes County, where I host monthly empowerment and networking events all across the Hill Country. These gatherings feature powerful speakers, local nonprofits, incredible women-owned businesses, and some truly beautiful venues. And women come into these rooms to grow, to be seen, and to rise together. And I've watched lifelong friendships and game-changing business connections form right before my eyes every single month here. And if you want a more personal look behind the scenes, so motherhood, entrepreneurship, healing, and real life as it unfolds, you can find me over on social media at Life of a Cherry Wife. And if you ever need help with social media and marketing for your business, you can find me on Howdy Social TX. Truly, thank you for being with me today. Thank you for showing up, for doing the work, and for choosing growth, even when it stretches you. And before you go, I want you to do one small thing for your future self. Even something tiny. I always say tiny moves add up, right? Tiny choices compound daily. And sometimes that one small decision is the moment that changes everything. Tiny moves create big impact, and that big impact could be the confidence boost you need today, right? Like breaking out of that crazy eight pattern. So stay powerful, stay grounded, stay connected, and have the most amazing, beautiful day and week. I will see you next time. Bye.